Maria of Alania was an empress consort of the Byzantine Empire. She was married to Emperors Michael VII Doukas and Nikephoros III Botaneiates. At the time of her marriage, Georgian Maria was one of only two non-Byzantine princesses to marry a Byzantine heir, along with Bertha of Italy, and the only one to give birth to an heir. It must be added, though, that Theodora of Khazaria had been married to Justinian II, though he was no longer heir at the time of the marriage, and that she had given birth to an heir, Tiberius, though he did not succeed his father. Her accession to the imperial throne of the Eastern Roman Empire was considered a significant success for a newly unified kingdom of Georgia, which would achieve regional influence comparable to that of Byzantium only during the reign of Martha's nephew, King David IV, who refused to carry a Byzantine title. Early years and accession to the throne. Being a daughter of the Georgian monarch Bertha, Martha was in line of succession to the Georgian throne behind her brother, future George II of Georgia. At the age of 5 years she was sent to Constantinople to further her education at the Byzantine court under the patronage of Empress Theodora in 1056. The latter, however, died later in the year and Martha returned home to Georgia. In 1065 she married the future Emperor Michael, a son of Constantine X Doukas, and became an empress when Michael was enthroned in 1071. The marriage was an important exception because members of the Byzantine Imperial family usually married only Greeks, and among the few cases of them marrying non-Greek barbarians was Romanos II's marriage to Bertha of Italy and Justinian II to Theodora of Khazaria. This period of Maria's marriage was marred by Michael's military failures in Anatolia against the Seljuk Turks, as well as currency devaluation, which caused growing dissatisfaction and culminated in a 1078 coup that ousted Michael and enthroned Nikephoros III Botaneiates. Michael was forced to become a monk at the Studios monastery and Maria went to a Petrion monastery with her son Constantine, but she did not become a nun, possibly hinting that she had some future plans at the imperial court. Second marriage. The new emperor Nikephoros' wife died shortly before his accession to the throne and he announced his intention to remarry, which triggered a fierce competition among all the unmarried girls of Constantinople and even between Maria, her former mother-in-law Eudokia Makrembolishisa, and Eudokia's daughter Zoe. The new emperor was first inclined to marry Eudokia, but Maria received a strong support of her Doukas in-laws, who convinced Nikephoros to select her because of her beauty and the benefits of having a foreign-born wife with no domestic relatives who could interfere in Nikephoros' rule. In addition, by this move Nikephoros would pacify the loyalists of the ousted Doukas, because Maria's first husband Michael was still alive, even as he was a monk. Her marriage to the new emperor was considered adulterous by the Orthodox Church, and one of Maria's prominent supporters, John Doukas, even had to demote a priest who refused to perform the marriage and substitute him with another, one who agreed to marry the couple in 1078. As part of the marriage deal, Maria was promised that her son Constantine would be named an heir to the empire, but Nikephoros reneged on this promise at the later point. Despite this, during his reign Maria was treated as an equal and received enormous lands and property, with Nikephoros going as far as to give her brother, George II of Georgia, a title of Accession to acknowledge his close ties to the imperial family. Maria and the Second Imperial Coup. According to Princess Anna Komnena, daughter of Emperor Alexios Komnenos, who was under care of Maria, despite all the influence the Empress wielded at the court, she remained dissatisfied with Nikephoros' refusal to name her son Constantine as an heir, would have ensured his own safety to the end. The Empress, moreover, would have had more confidence in him. She would have been more more loyal. The old man did not realize the unfairness and inexpediency of his plans, unaware that he was bringing evil on his own head. The Empress became an important part of a plot organized by the general Alexios Komnenos, who was rumored to be her lover. Alexios forced Nikephoros to abdicate the throne and was himself crowned emperor in 1081. Alexios had Constantine proclaimed heir to the throne and, later betrothed his daughter, Anna Komnena, to Constantine. This situation changed drastically when Alexios had a son, the future Emperor John II Komnenos, by the Empress consort Doukas in 1087, Anna's engagement with Constantine was dissolved. The latter was deprived of his status of heir apparent and Maria forced to retire to a monastery. Years of Maria's influence at the court, however, manifested itself in the fact that Constantine received a status of a co-emperor, a higher title than that of Emperor's older brother Isaac, and Maria received guarantees of personal safety. Maria was also charged with the care of young imperial princess Anna Komnena, who was very fond of her and shared all her secrets with the former empress. Anna Komnena describes Maria's beauty in her medieval biographical text Alexiad. She writes about Maria the following: life after leaving the throne. After her dethronement and a period at a monastery, Maria lived in the Mingana Palace, where she organized an alternative court as mother of the co-emperor and mother-in-law designate of the emperor's eldest daughter, despite being officially a nun and wearing a veil. This transition made little difference to Maria's lifestyle, and she continued her usual charitable activities, including donations to the Georgian monastery of Iveron on Mount Athos, and a building of a convent named Capitha at Jerusalem with her mother Borena. Maria's commanded great wealth and owned the Mingana Palace, as well as the Hebdomon Monastery, the burial place of Basil II. She was also patron of numerous literary figures, including Theophylact of Ohrid, future Archbishop of Bulgaria, and a Georgian Neoplatonist Jean Patrici. Final years. After Maria's son Constantine died in 1096, she finally moved herself to a monastery, purportedly in a heavily Georgian-influenced area like northeastern Anatolia. She remained revered in her native Georgia, resulting in an increase in future marriages between the Georgian and Byzantine royalty, and strengthening of ties between the two countries. Maria was also an influence for Komnenian women who were impressed by her past political involvement and charitable work. Ancestry.